Hey guys, Jason here. Did you guys know that many people believe that earning their first $1 million will be their most difficult challenge? In reality, it's not, but when most people hear $1 million, their minds punch the clock and stop working, and they go on through life thinking that earning $1 million is impossible, and no matter what happens, I can't do that. This is why I think the harder goal is the first 10,000. The first time I tried to do this, I managed to save up $10,000. Not once, but twice. The first time it took me about 6 months, and not surprisingly, it took me less than a month to blow all of that money. The second time I managed to save 10K in just under 3 months. Now, the reason I say the first 10,000 is a lot harder is because $10,000 is a very accomplishable goal to attain. And what it takes to save your first 10,000 can get you to 1 million. And what I did to get me my first 10,000 got me my first 100,000, got me my first 250,000, and so on. And although it's the same notion, I don't believe $1,000 is good to use as an example or a goal, because getting to $1,000 is sort of easy since most people getting paid bi-weekly make over $1,000 every 2 weeks. But I'm sure you understand that budgeting and saving to $10,000 is a bit more challenging. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly my routine when it comes to getting paid. You see, everyone has a routine, whether it's a morning routine, an exercise routine, self-care, or a hobby routine. But when I get paid, I have a routine that contains things that I must do with my money to make sure that I don't waste it, but more importantly, to make sure that my money makes me more money, so that I have even more money tomorrow to make even more money tomorrow. You understand? It's a never-ending cycle. Now, the first thing that I like to do with my money and my money routine is what I like to call having a benchmark. My benchmark is the amount of money I need to live a decent existence and to be able to achieve my goals no matter what they may be. Here's what I noticed and what I did when I first started learning about money, budget control, and investing in passive income. And I'm sure you've noticed that since you've opened your eyes to these things, you've kind of been learning everything all at once, because if you're anything like I was, you've kind of become infatuated with it, and now you're like a geek when it comes to money and finances. So the plan was for me to start trying to save all of my money by not eating my favorite lunches at work anymore. However, after about a week, it became too much, and I basically said, alright, this saving stuff is too hard. I would rather save a bit less money and get to where I want to go comfortably than to stop having to eat what I like, stop taking Ubers and stuff like that. So basically, you should have the things that make you happy included inside your benchmark, which is the amount of money you need to survive. Whether it's putting aside money to eat out once or twice a week, or to take an Uber home once in a while after work, make sure you include those things inside your benchmark when you're creating it, so that you're not tempted to buy these things when you can't afford them and have to withdraw more money from an ATM or transfer some money from your savings. Our goal is to make all of our spending convenient, so our benchmark has 4 major expenses. The first and probably most essential is housing, which refers to your apartment or your house, and there's nothing wrong with paying rent, but the point is to live somewhere where you can actually afford. A very common rule is to basically not spend more than 33% of your monthly income on housing. And I know people who spend half or more than half their monthly income on fancy studios and apartments, but they are only renting. And this isn't good because it costs to live, which leads to our next major expense: utilities. In my opinion, utilities include more than just your light, gas, internet, and phone bills. They also include other important expenses you may incur monthly, such as those related to your health care and gym memberships. And I categorize these expenses as utilities because I essentially depend on them and they aid me in some way. So I make sure to include them all in my benchmark. I know people whose monthly gym memberships alone cost more than $230. Please don't be a moron. If you have high-priced utilities like a high-priced phone or internet bill, call those necessary companies and explain that you want to lower your plan and negotiate to have those bills as low as possible in order to save yourself a lot of money. Third, we have food and groceries. A lot of people attempt to cut costs on food, which I don't really like since I don't want to live off instant noodles like the kids in college do. I like to eat healthy, but don't get me wrong, I enjoy steak and some good fried wings and fries, but I enjoy these things in moderation because I know that I'll have to pay for it later with my health care and other expenses. A lot of people skip out on the gym and eat what they want until it comes back to bite them in the forms of obesity and chronic disease, which are tied together in most cases. Trust me on this one. one, foot the bill for a healthier meal when you can, and don't let your gym membership become a leech on your bank account because you aren't using it or canceling it. Last of the 4 major expenses included in our benchmark is transportation, which essentially refers to your car and everything inside it, or public transportation and how much you would pay monthly. For instance, before I bought my car, I bought monthly Metro cards in New York City for about $125. That's how much it costs monthly. Now I only pay for gas and insurance, which cost me about $270 in New York, excluding the occasional car wash. Now the rule here is to try to keep all your monthly car expenses at or below 20% of your monthly income. So for example, let's say you earn about $2,500 every month. You should spend roughly $500 on your car in total, which includes your loan payment, gas, insurance, and maintenance. You shouldn't have any trouble paying for your ride as long as you comply with these conditions. If you want to spend a little bit more, you can always make reductions in your spending elsewhere. Okay, so now that we have pointed out where most of your money was going, if you didn't already know, let's get to the good part, which is utilizing strategies that will help you start saving sooner than later to reach our goal of $10,000. One tactic is to set aside a separate account for your benchmark fund so that when you receive your paycheck, all of the money required to cover your monthly expenses will already be available. You should also set aside a separate account to pay for things you enjoy so you won't be tempted to. Secondly, if you properly set up your benchmark by carefully taking your income and expenses into consideration, you should have money left over. If you don't, you are either still spending excessively or earning insufficiently, which means that you must either increase your income through side hustles, asking for a raise, or changing jobs. A lot of people make the mistake with this strategy by not recognizing their need to take on a side hustle, extra hours at work, but don't make this mistake of getting comfortable and having nothing left over after getting paid. This is how people get caught in the paycheck to paycheck cycle. The last strategy I really like is called saving in the middle. And what I really like about it is when trying to save money, we should all avoid trying to save money in the middle on things like utilities and groceries and instead focus on the high and low points such as your rent, mortgage, or car payments, which are usually the most expensive things you're paying for monthly. If you have a lease, you should sell the lease if you're not planning on buying the car or get rid of it. This is because majority of your money will come from these 2 main areas and not the. If you've made it this far into the video, I just want to say thank you for watching, and if you learned anything, give us a like and a subscribe. In our next videos, we will be explaining how to make money with the extra money we are going to save by following the budget and benchmarks we talked about today. So thanks for tuning into your financial freedom. Can't wait to see you at the top. Jason, out.